I'm Matt Gross, the Frugal Traveler for the New York Times. This summer, I'm embarking on the Grand Tour of Europe. Over 12 weeks, I'll seek out ancient history and contemporary culture. I'll find cool hotels and eat memorable meals. And I'll stretch the US dollar to the breaking point. After 3 days in Dover, my adventure really, truly, finally began. I took to the seas and headed across the English Channel to Calais, France. Frankly, I was excited. There I was, literally in the wake of the 18th century grand tourists. Would I see what they saw? Do what they did? And more importantly, would I freeze to death before I got there? Inside the ferry was a kind of floating mall with shopping, restaurants, a video arcade, slot machines, and, of course, Benoit Warzé, who works in contemporary art just outside Calais.
If you stay some day in France, I opened a new exhibition.
Okay.
It's an American girl from Detroit.
Marjorie Van Halteren.
Yeah, Van Halteren, so it's American.
An invitation to a gallery opening? That's exactly what the traditional grand tourists were seeking. And just as we arrived in Calais, too. First, however, I had to walk through town to my B&B, Le Cercle de Malines. This is just the kind of place I'm always looking for. Beautiful, comfortable, and quite affordable at 53 euros per night. I had the Venice room, small but cozy, with a big soft bed and a view of the garden. Actually, the only thing that worried me was that this might be the nicest place I stay all summer long. As I took the free shuttle buses through Calais, I was feeling pretty cosmopolitan. It's in some ways a very nice city, with parks, a grand city hall, and the famous Rodin statue of the burghers of Calais. The burghers were 6 prominent Calais citizens who surrendered to England's King Edward III in order to halt the siege of the city during the 100 Years' War. You find these burghers all over the place, like, say, at the Fine Art Museum. Hey, you know what goes well with burgers? Fries. Calais is close to Belgium, which means they know exactly what to do with potatoes. Combien de kilos de frites par jour? Everywhere in Calais I went, I found artiness. For instance, Jean-Baptiste Dumont, a painter and sculptor, who poured me a beer and showed me his studio.
It's a sculpture that, before I picked up springs, blocks, this one's a brick, a red house brick.
Jean-Baptiste also showed me his unusual collections.
It's my cat.
Later, I went to Benoit's gallery opening in the town of Saint-Omer. The trip was 14 euros, there and back, but easily worth the expense. I arrived to find crowds packing the gallery, but I grabbed an artisanal beer and tracked down the artist, Marjorie Van Halteren. Inside, you could see almost nothing, just this little window on the sky. The only sounds were those typical northern French countryside sounds that Marjorie had recorded, a distillation of the world surrounding us. As wonderful as all this artiness was, when I returned home, I had something else on my mind. Calais' refugee problem. Here, less than 5 minutes from the burghers of Calais, is where hundreds of homeless refugees from Africa, Central Asia, and the Middle East gather every day for free meals. Those with money may pay to be trafficked to England, but those without are unlikely to win asylum on either side of the channel. Even worse, the police frequently arrest them simply for walking in public, which doesn't mean the refugees aren't friendly. Roshan from Sri Lanka and his friend Ahmed from Somalia led me back to their home in the place people call the jungle. Their lives are about as hard as you can imagine. You get food twice a day from the...
One take a Catholic and salam. One they give food at 2 o'clock in the evening, and it's another food at 6 o'clock.
And showers?
I will not shower for now 9 days.
Have you had contact with your family at
No,
all?
no, I don't know where are they because they want to leave behind me. It's another shift. I don't know. They left. They going to India or they going to Italy or they going to any other country. I don't know. I couldn't contact them yet.
If you have a message for them, for the camera, maybe if somehow they can watch, what would the message be?
I just want to tell my mom and dad I'm fine. I'm surviving.
The plight of my new friends really put the grand tour in perspective. Pour le New York Times, je suis Mathieu Gross, le bourlingueur frugal.